What's going on, boys? No Guides here. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a Meta 50k Premier League team. Now, I'm going to tell you the formation, tactics, how to set this up in game. I'm also going to go over the players as well and give you alternate players, I suppose, because some people have like preferences. But let's go straight into this video because I know you're just going to skip anyway to the formations. To the players. So the first player we got was Godfrey. Now, you can get him pretty cheap. I packed him untradeable. He's around about 7k now. You can potentially get him even cheaper. So he's a top tier player. 100% would recommend him. Next to him, for the best centre-back for price performance, I would go as Romero. Now, I personally have tried Davinson Sanchez. He's really good. But for most people, I'm going to ask you to get me Romero. Why? It's because very simply, he has the best defensive stats, I suppose you can say, for a centre-back for that price. Because, of course, he's low-high as well. You put a shadow on him, he becomes one of the best centre-backs in the game. He's got good agility and balance. Now, I still use full-backs. Yes, they've not been nerfed as you think they have. But Romero is still one of the best cards. If you want, Rudiger and Davinson Sanchez would be two other players that you can use instead, and some like Joe Gomez once you get money. For the goalkeeper, you can go with Pope. I personally go with De Gea just because De Gea is a very much similar price to Pope, and I personally prefer De Gea. He's got a save his feet trait. He's nerfed this year. He's not as good as he was last year, but I just prefer De Gea. That's just my personal preference. If you want to use Pope, of course, feel free to be my guest. For the left back, we've gone Reguilon. Now, if you want to go with someone cheaper, go ahead and get Kieran Tierney. But Reguilon can get the job done. He's a very cheap card, 3,000 coins. And I think, to be honest, high work rates. You need a fast left back and right back. Look, to be honest, if you want meta players, you need to have fast players. I'm not going to sit here and recommend you someone with 60 pace because that's not my job. My job is to give you the most meta players. Your job's to copy it, and then if you don't like something, you can change it if you want to. Now, right backs were a bit problematic. To keep it in budget, Wan-Bissaka is too expensive. 25k is way too much money, so that is a bit of a bummer that I'm very much aware of. So there isn't that many options. Semedo is a good card, but he's also been nerfed this year. You're talking about 82 sprint speed, not enough for a right back. People are going to disagree with me, but I'll tell you from a top tier end, the pace is the most important thing. It doesn't matter about the defense as long as you can recover first. Think about it in real life. If Ronaldo's running you behind, the best chance you got is if you got a fast player. Think of that the same way. So what we've gone is we're going for a 76 rated player called Fredericks. Now, I know you're going to start getting angry at me saying, well, look at his defensive stats, but you put an anchor on him, he's actually not that bad. And for like 2,000 coins, he's one of the best right backs you can get in the Premier League for the price. Everyone else is just too slow. If you got the money, go ahead and get Wan-Bissaka, but if you don't, Fredericks is definitely the card to go with. And that way, if you're playing a 3-5-2, at least you've got two flying players left mid, right mid as well. Now, the next card we're gone is with Saul. Now, personally, I would say Fred. If you want to know the best centre mid in the Premier League, price to performance, I'm telling you right now, it's this Fred card. I'll tell you this without a fact, because I'm using him now, and he's one of the best cards, honestly, in this Premier League team that you can get under the price because his agility balance is so good. Now, that's if you want the nil guides way. If you want to go towards the meta but not the nil guides way, people prefer someone like Saul because he's well-rounded a bit more. And it is true, he is well-rounded, but he does lack in the... And don't forget, you know how I am with agility and balance and pace. Is the reason why I went into fullbacks in the first place. So Saul is a good card, but he lacks agility and balance. So he can't bring the ball going forward as well as Fred can do it. If you're on a higher end, if you're probably a gold 3 to gold 2 player and above, I would say get Saul. If you're gold 1 and above, definitely get Fred. Don't even think about that. Definitely get Fred. But Saul is one of the best overall centre mids that can do everything. And let's think about a dynamic centre mid in the game. But I would say for Fred is definitely another player that is very similar. Then we skip over to Sissoko. Now, Sissoko is one of the best CDMs in the game. Now, one thing that's been changed this year is that he has the medium-high work rates. And that is perfect, of course, for a CDM. So he's definitely worth getting. I 100% recommend you to get him regardless, to be honest. 6'2" is a tank. Almost like a cheap Vieira. Still got the top tier sprint speed. Has been nerfed. Don't get me wrong. He's no longer 81 rated. Hasn't got the most crack stats like he did last year. But he's still got the physical, still got the defending, and he's got the pace, and he can still bring the ball going forward. So although his agility and balance lacks, he makes up for it in those other areas. Now, for the attack, I want to start this by saying, look, you can go with Martial if you want, okay? But Martial's shooting isn't that great. And right now, the finesse shot meta is really effective. Now, I know what you're going to say to me. Why on earth are you choosing a guy with like 70 long shots? Now, bear with me, okay? If you want you can put a hunter on him. You want to get his finisher up. Now, he has a 3-star skill moves, but a 4-star weak foot. In my opinion, you still want one striker inside the box that can shoot. He has a 4-star weak foot. He can dribble-ish, but he's got really top-tier finishing and shot power. So you can still do finesse shots around the apex of the penalty arc. You can still do that. That's not an issue. But I'll be honest, you want to get him. Just because he's so clinical. Less the finesse shot meta is good, but there's going to be chances when you get the ball inside the box and your opponent's going to be parking a bus, dropping back one depth, and you're going to have the ball basically in the penalty spot. You're going to need someone like him. Then when you go with someone else, you're going to be like, man, I should listen to this Neil guy, but I didn't. So that's why I get him first. And he's like, what, 10k, 8k? You can't go wrong. The best right wing in the Premier League, to be honest, for any budget, is Salah, but obviously he's too much. In terms of getting a right wing, look, I'll be honest, if you want to get a good player, I've just gone personally with Lucas Moura. He's always been one of the best right wings, right mids in the game. Saint Maximin is another card. He's a bit on the cheap, but he's got the 5-star skill move. So if you like to do if you watch don't forget, watch my skills tutorial for that. But you want to see the skills, you can do the first time spin. And I've got other squad builders as well on my channel if you want to check that out for your budgets. But he's got agility and balance. You still need one fast guy now. In a 3-5-2, I would use him in cam. That's why I'm putting him in this team. So I'll definitely recommend putting him in the team. I wouldn't even say there's even a question to even doubt it. He's one player that has to go in. Then we go over to the left wing. Now I've gone with someone that can play a cam, that can also play a second striker. Now Lucas can play striker as well, but I wanted someone with a 5-star weak foot. Now let's be honest, the meta is the first time finesses, and it's pacing behind L1 triangle. You would have known that if you watched my video on the top 3 meta things that pros don't want you to know. But this guy's got a 5-star weak foot, high work rates. All you got to do is put a hunter on him. He gets the pace. You put a Deadeye on him. You got one of the best cams that money can buy. Put a Deadeye on him and just look at his stats. Honestly, it's cracked. Like if you think about it in general terms. So I'm going to quickly, in fact, let me just show you this actually. So I go ahead and open Firefox over here in the background. If my computer loads, that is. Computer's quite slow today, unfortunately. But if I go over straight, you can see if I put Yotta in. And if I put a Deadeye on him, he becomes one of the best shots. Now, listen, I agree his long shots are not the best. Okay, I'll be honest. If you really want to bring that up, you can put a marksman on him. But as a cam with a Deadeye, he's really good. Or you can just put a hunter on him. It's up to you. But he becomes one of the best players to play around the penalty arc area and just behind the striker or as a second striker. So that is why I fully would recommend him in the team. I wouldn't even question it, to be honest. So we've gone with them. And then the last card is you can go with anyone you want here. You can go with Zaha. Zaha is a good option. I've gone with Gabriel Jesus. Just for the simple fact, he's got no, listen, I agree that pace is important, but not as important as you think, put it that way. It depends on certain positions, but Gabriel Jesus has got the dribbling. And he's got the decent shooting as well. If you want, you can go with someone like Zaha for the left wing, but I've gone with Gabriel Jesus. Now, in terms of formations, right? If you're going to be playing a 3-5-2, the way I'll line it up is like I would put Vardy in striker, Yotta in cam, or the second striker is up to you. Either way you want to do it. And then I'll put something like this. The benefit is that Gabriel Jesus can still shoot from the left-hand side. And if you really want shooters in the team, you can of course sub this guy off and you can go by someone like Joseph Martinez, who's a very good card as a cheap super sub. If you're playing a 4-2-3-1, which I think will work best, or 4-4-2, it's the exact same layout. Of course, over here you just swap these two guys around, and then what you would do is you'll put this guy in cam, and if you want, you can put Zaha instead of Gabriel Jesus, and then that's it. That's where you line up in a game in the 4-2-3-1. Of course, Yotta in cam. I mean, of course, you can even play him in striker. 4-4-2 is the exact same system. It's up to you who you want to play. I mean, personally, I would go like something like this. And I'll keep Lucas as someone for the L1 triangles. And then if you want, you can have Zaha there or you can have Jesus. Now, you can go with some with better long shots, but I still think it's better to have, just for the time being, cheap players, because it's only a 50k team. Realistically, you're going to get a 100k team, soon you're going to upgrade. So 50k, you won't lose too much money on these cards either. And if you're going to be playing the last one, which is a 4-1-2, which I think the formation will really excel, if you know what you're doing, that is. I'll put Sissoko and CDM. Now, I normally put, the way I'll do it is, I'll put Saul on stay back while attacking, and I'll swap these around and I'll play it like this. That's the way that I would do it if you're playing a 4-on-2-on-2 in game. And that is basically it. If you're talking about the tactics, I'll quickly go over. So unfortunately, you can't show tactics, of course, on one of these squads. So I'll quickly go to this team over here, and you can just basically copy and paste. I got a video on these anyway, but I'll basically go through them so you can very, very quickly see them. That's the 4-2-3-1, and I'm just going to skip through the instructions. So you can, of course, just pause this. But if you want, just go ahead and check my video where I go over. This is the 4-2-3-1. Sorry, 3-5-2 should I say. And don't forget, I got a video on all these anyway, so if you want to, you can really just go ahead and watch this video. But I'm presuming you're probably pausing it now. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. These tactics do work. You just have to rework the players around. This is the very much attacking tactic, and it's the exact same thing over here. But thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace out.